So we'll try to conclude on the consciousness. So what we have been looking at is how many types of consciousness are there. So there are six. Buddha doesn't talk about that unchanging consciousness because it doesn't make sense. The more we think about it, the more it gets into a muddled up. Okay. Now, I've shared some videos about uh, quantum mechanics. Okay, so we'll take one of that. It's most easy to grasp, understand. Is a double slit experiment which has been done, which is we can do it at home. No big deal on that. You can literally see in the sun rays coming, and if there is two slit, the sun rays, instead of getting two slit, it will go in multiple. If you were to put an observer, it will become two slits. If you don't have an observer, it just goes like a wave. So you have many of this pattern coming. So if you see through a window, you can literally see it. One beam is getting split up into so many parts. It is very clear that when there's no observer effect, you have many patterns. So what does that show? If there is an observer, that is, if the consciousness turns as an observer, which it never, let's say it turns, then what happens? You get only a single streak. That means it can't allow this pattern to continue. So the interference pattern is removed. In the same way of the double slit experiment is that when they put an observer, it goes as a particle. But when you remove the observer, it goes as a wave. So then the light follows both particle and a wave. When it becomes a wave, it loses particle. When it becomes particle, it loses wave. In the same way, when we are looking at wife and husband and all that, we are more like a wave because there's no observer. So now the mind, whatever it has picked up, based upon the information coming through the eyes and the ears and nose and tongue like that, it has named it. So it appears in both places. Place A, where you see an object. Place B is when you not only see that object but also recognize that object. So you have two reflections now. One as that item, another is what it is said about that item. So it has a shadow.
No.
Okay, so now when you have a shadow, you hang on to the shadow. So wife is a shadow, basically, or the husband is a shadow, a friend is a shadow, a house is a shadow, everything is a shadow because you have called that. It's just named like that, basically. But it is real because it's coming out of consciousness. It's coming from consciousness. Anything that comes of consciousness gives life. So you feel it's real. Okay, so when I do that, if I'm in California or in, let's say, San Francisco, the very fact that it is called San Francisco, the mind has moved from this place into that place. Because it's called like that. So basically, what is happening here is that the movement in consciousness creates this distortion. So the objective is that you don't create any kind of distortion at all by not taking it as yours. Okay. So that's the whole idea with which this is being done. Meaning, when you want to conceptualize, you conceptualize. Nothing goes against conceptualization. But don't make the conceptualized object as real. That's the observer effect. So this will still have a beam of light coming, One second. Just give me a second. So the beam of light is going to be there. That beam of light which is showing the object, like this object in the sense that what you're seeing in the background, that's fair. That's just a painting. But what if I think it's Buddha? Because the mind is making up that thing called as Buddha, and now is a lot of things happening. Because I love Buddha, I feel I should revere. And if I don't like Buddha, as an example, then what I should do? I go and try to tear that painting because I'm feeling angry. So one side I'm feeling very happy that there's a painting, another side the same person who doesn't like it is trying to get angry and tear that whole thing out. Why? Because he sees this reflection. One reflection of the matter which is coming in there, and another reflection of what it is. So this is the Nama and Rupa. So one is a nominal form, one is a formal name. So this is a formal name. I call that as a monastery because there's no other way to define it. So then I say this is monastery. So that everybody says, Vilas, you're sitting in a nice monastery. Okay, agreed. But it's actually a building, if at all to call, with some painting, but called as monastery. It's fair. So that's a formal name. Nominal form is the form just in the name, not really out there. Similarly, Vilas is a formal name for a nominal form, which by itself has no form. It's coming out of food only. Actually, if you see, this form is getting developed by food. Regularly, I'm eating. Everybody can see that I'm eating in the morning, eating in the afternoon, eating in the evening. What else is happening? It's the same thing with all of us. So the body is getting aged, whatever we call it as aged. It's not that you are getting aged. The body is getting aged because it is growing. When you start taking food, it grows, it matures, and it dies. It grows, it matures, it dies. So every year it grows, I can call aged by an year, if I were to say, instead of taking an everyday arithmetic and saying that today I aged and tomorrow I aged and all that. So we have made it a yearly thing so that we can remember, this is first year of my birthday. There's no my in the birthday. It's the body has got destroyed every day, every day, every day, every day till 1 year. So this is 1 year of coming from the womb, from the initial place, right? And then the second year, and the third year, and the 10th year, and the 20th year, and 30th year, like that. We can keep on saying because that's a concept, but that's a formalization. So age is a formalization. You just formalize so that everybody agrees on that. So if I say I'm a 52-year-old, is nothing. What it means, I don't know. But I just say 53. But do you feel 52, 53, 51, 45, whatever? You don't feel anything because you have no age. But just convention is a formal name. Nominal form only in the name. Do you find aging? No. Even if you ask an 80-year-old person and say that you're aged, he'll laugh because I say really they don't understand what you're talking about, and they just say acknowledge. Oh yeah, I'm aged. I'm actually a grandfather or a grandmother or whatever it is, because that's a designation given. But if you see, irrespective of it, whether that being was there in the womb or it is outside the womb, it's eating, it's growing, it's maturing. right? So that's all. So growth, maturity, death. Growth, maturity, death is a common factor, irrespective of whoever, however it is. So then what do we find? We find just a concept. That's it. You don't find anyone there. On that concept, you put a label to it, saying that, this is Mirin, and this is Bobby, and this is Ariu. Name Bobby means like he is a Christian. So then the next question comes, are you a converted Christian, or you're this Christian or that Christian? And after that, the question comes, are you a Catholic Christian or a Protestant Christian, or this Christian or that Christian? After that, you would again go and say, and go keep on probing and probing and probing, and you keep on conceptualizing. I'm from this, I'm from Syrian church, I'm from that church and this church. Okay, then what happened to Christian? It's gone. If you're a Syrian Christian, then that other kind of Christian is gone. If there's other kind of Christian, then this kind of Christian is gone. So then we can keep on splitting our hairs to madness with argumentation. Basically, if you see, it's just a concept. It's called Christianity because of Christ. So before Christ, what happened? There was no Christian. So were you converted then? Makes nonsense of it. Because before Christ appeared, there was no Christianity. Before Buddha appeared, there was no Buddhism. Now, if I say I'm an ardent Buddhist, I'm making a fool of myself. Why? It's a concept. Buddhist is a concept. Can you find a Buddhist in the world? You will never find. And on top of that, I say I follow Goenka technique. What? What technique? But I'm a Buddhist following Goenka technique. Give me a break. Goenka technique means, don't say it's for only for Buddhist. But I'm a Buddhist, but I don't have Goenka technique. I think you should go and buy one. It's like I go to a shop and then buy one Goenka technique thing and then say that, here is the Goenka technique I bought. Next what? Because that is still a concept. So the mind, when we say on the consciousness, which falls on the mind, mano vinyana, is that consciousness which reflects whatever is said to it. If I am said, from today you are not Vilas, you are Anagarika. And if you explain to the mind Anagarika is higher thing than Vilas, it will take Anagarika and throw out Vilas in a second. And it'll even get worked up. If somebody is not calling Anagarika and it just says Vilas, excuse me, sir, my name is Anagarika Vilas. What difference did it make between Anagarika and Vilas? What if somebody calls me Bhante? Isn't that the best thing I could be called as? So then what happens to Vilas? He will throw it out. Saying, no, Vilas. Call me Bhante. Then somebody says, sir, instead of Bhante, we'll call you Arhat Vilas. What do you think? Is that even more better than Bhante? And the answer is yes. So now 4 people call me Arhat. Isn't that the most pleasing thing I should hear in the ear? Right? So the concept is born. Now if somebody says, Vilas, you're not an Arhat. I have 4 testimony people. I say, first go and ask them. They have seen me, I'm an Arhat. Right? How does it matter? Arhat or no Arhat, how does it matter? Because Arhat means you are not getting rebirth. That's all what it is. You should know, not others should know. And even if they know or don't know, how does it matter to you? But I would like to impress upon people whom I know. You're talking to an Arhat. And one person will say, he's so arrogant. You see how he says, I'm an Arhat. Right? So that is even more weird. Why? because concept is a concept. So I can create concept, and concept requires an acceptance. So what we do is, all humans, including all kind of beings, including Deva and the Brahma, whatever is there, they create a world of conceptualization and call that as their world. That's their world, right? This is our world. In our world, we use language and connotation to make something which is non-existent existent. As an example, you can go to US without a visa, but I'll conceptualize it. You should have a passport. Passport for going to US. Give me a break. Who is going to US? You. Who is you going there? So to allow Vilas to go to US, Vilas is the body, to go to US, he should be photographed. So now you see this fun. It's a still photograph, but the person is going. It's a still photograph taken maybe some years ago. There's no correlation between this person who is on the photograph versus the person who is actually going there and standing in front of that immigration. Now, the visa is even more weird thing. That visa is valid for 10 years, by which time his face and every feature is changed. But still, mind can correct it and say that, he is Vilas only. Little bit changes, maybe slightly plumpy, slightly more, he looks aged, so I think, yeah, it's fair. Okay, go. But actually, the person who stood for the photograph died the very second. But due to the conceptualization, he is extended for 10 years till he applies for the visa once again. So when he applies for the visa this time, what happens? That photo is removed and this photo comes. And by which time his passport also is changed. So the passport is changed, his visa is changed, both are changed. So called visa. Now, if you go and ask anyone, what is a visa? You have to conceptualize. But that's okay. Let it be conceptualized. But aren't you taking visa to be real? And the answer is yes. It's real. And that's the problem. Concept remaining as a concept is no issue. But concept getting into reality is an issue. So if we were to remove the concept from the mind, the consciousness then withdraws. So the sixth sense vijnana will get closed, nirodha. That's a peaceful thing. The most peaceful existence is not having anything. Because all these are conditioned. Visa is a condition. Going here is one condition. Not going there is another condition. Coming back is another condition. And expecting that again you have to be there is another condition. So you keep on putting condition. So when you put a condition, what is condition? Conditions have two dimensions to work. One dimension is the possibility of that condition to work. The possibility. Another condition, another thing is the probability of that happening, that event happening. So consciousness has the possibility all the time. It's possible. It's possible that you become an arhat. It's possible that you become a sakadagami. It's possible that you become an anagami. It's possible you become a sotapanna. It's possible that you don't become anything also. It's possible that you can become a Christian. It's possible you can become a Muslim. It's possible that you can become a Hindu. It can possible anything, because that's what consciousness is all about, to make things possible. All our experiences are possible. There is possible. That means it's deterministic. Meaning it's true. The consciousness job is to make it happen. Deterministic. But It's based upon the condition which is can be met. The condition herein, the possibility, one portion, the probability has two, permutation and combination. If it is in this combination, which can be in this permutation, and this is probability, right? So if I bring the necessary conditions for the jhana, and then I can enter into jhana. I can say I'm entering into jhana because the consciousness now sticks onto the jhana. The it can be called as first jhana or the second and third and like that. Because you are having a conscious experience of infinite space. You're having a conscious experience of infinite consciousness. You're having a conscious experience of nothingness. You're having a conscious experience of neither perception nor non perception. You have a conscious experience of not feeling, not perceiving. That's a conscious experience. It means it's always possible. Probability depends on permutation and combination. If the permutation combination is not working, even though it is possible, it's not working because it didn't meet the probability, the condition. Simple examples. What if I don't get a visa to the US? You can fly. Simple as that. Bring in the necessary condition. You can fly. But it's always possible for you to go to US. It's also possible not to go to US. Both are there. It's possible to go, also possible not to go. It's not possible. It's possible to go and also possible not to go. It depends on the condition. In the same way, death is possible to die. Today, right now, we can't say because the condition is not matured. And the probability of me dying at this moment is far less. But that doesn't mean that there is no possibility of dying at all. Right? So then what is consciousness doing here? Consciousness job is to make that thing which you can't say it is not possible, possible. And hence it's the magician. The world's best magician is consciousness. Why? It made Mirin come to life. It made Ariu come to life. It made Vilas come to life. It made Shreyas come to life. It made Bobby come to life. Not only that, it made husband come to life. It made wife come to life. It made daughter come to life. It made son come to life, which was not there. It also made office come to life. It made Australia come to life, and New Zealand comes to life. The entire world, continents, India, this, that, so many things, politics, no politics, sports, education, entertainment, all are coming to life. All that is experienced in consciousness only. No dead body can do that. No table and chair or whatever can do that. It's only a conscious being can do it. That means the possibility of life ever is conscious. And everything is in conscious. And it's conscious of unconscious also. What does that mean? If it is having basic awareness, sati, it becomes conscious of that which it was unconscious of. But it is driven towards feeling and perception and experience. It gets locked into that. So it becomes so small. Meaning, if I were to leave Ariu in the mind, if I leave wife in the mind, they're going to grow, mature, and die. What if I don't have any one of them? Neither they grow, nor they mature, nor they die. Because consciousness' job is to make things to grow, mature, and die. And that's it. So now you're done with your basic consciousness, which is aware. And that's Nibbana, because there's no conceptualization. So you leave the six senses, be an observer. Observer effect stops. In fact, I was watching one video on quantum mechanics. If you be an observer, even acceleration due to gravity also doesn't work. There's no gravity, there's nothing there, because its movement itself is not there. So if there's movement only, there's gravity works. If there's no movement, nothing works. You are expanding to stay rather than move. Meaning, if the mind is moving, it uses energy. If mind is not moving, it doesn't lose any energy, because it doesn't gain any energy, so it doesn't have to lose any energy. So basically, it is still. It's like still flowing water. Ajahn Chah puts it very nicely. Still flowing water. The water is still, but it's still flowing. It means world is going, but you're just watching. Still flowing water. So something like that is what we can see in this conscious, just conscious, not getting worked up. So what we should do then as a practice? Simple. Be an observer. Just an observer. Can you be an observer? Just start with observing the breath. Don't make it an activity. I'll sit for 1 hour for breathing. No. Never going to work. Because observation has got nothing to do with your timings. If you create time and space constraint, it's always a constraint. So you're already constrained by either time or space or both. So what does that mean? Time has a past, present, and future. Space will live within that time. So you're creating something which never exists. So I say, I want to watch my breath for 1 hour. Never. Never it's going to work out. But then how do we communicate? Yeah, for communication, you need to say, yeah, I'm sitting for 1 hour. Fine, fair. But don't take in the mind. Don't take that concept. And don't make the mind start thinking on that 1 hour. So it creates a past, it creates a present, it creates a future. And when it creates past, present, future, the space gets constricted within that time. So now it's a pain of sitting. So it'll never work. Now, another one. I want to hear the sounds coming in my ear for 15 minutes. 15 minutes, okay. Now the mind is setting 15 minutes. When there is no space and time itself, what is 15 minutes about? So then you already created space and time. So when you create space and time, you're thinking, the 15 minutes over, some sound is coming. And the mind says, yeah, I'm hearing. Then next what? Boss, watch. I'm watching. I'm watching the sound. Wait, I'm hearing. Yeah, I heard. Next what? So the mind is moving from this A to B, A to B, A to B, A to B, like that. So now, no assignment. Assignment is just being an observer. Just observe. Whatever is coming, just observe. Then what? Forget about then what happens. Just observe. And then, just observe. Again, the mind will say, then, sorry, no, observe. Because it wants to know then what happens. Because it wants to move there. Just wants to move there. Next. After that, next. After that, next. So what you're doing is slowing down the system and saying that, no, And that's witness, right? So you are not allowing the mind means what? That means there are two consciousness now. One consciousness which is observing, another consciousness which is running. So you're observing the running consciousness by observation. Now when you do that, that's witness. This is witnessing this running. Initially they both are running and then he stops. That's what Buddha asks Angulimala. That why don't you stop? He says, I've stopped long time ago. You are the one who is running. And Angulimala feels, yeah, he's right. I'm running crazily. So he stops. So the witness consciousness stops. It was running along with the thief. Now it stops. Now what it does see? Nothing is happening to it. There's nothing which is happening. So then, what do you mean then? Then your mind is stilled, flowing water. Mind is stilled is Nibbana, flowing water is the world. The world is flowing, but you are stilled. So you're done.
Sorry. Okay. Hello,
Yes, sir.
Vilasji. I
Yes.
think I couldn't hear it completely because I was with doing something, But now the word what is said now, just now, the stillness flowing. I think that is the name of the autobiography of Ajahn Shah. It
Correct.
is stillness flowing.
Correct. That's the reason I said also Ajancha only
Oh,
initially.
you said Ajahn Shah. Okay, yeah,
Still
yeah,
flowing water. It's
yeah.
very, many people don't understand what he means by that.
Yeah. No, but you said it. I only said last few words, sentences. But you say stillness is your mind is still and the world is flowing. So that's very beautiful.
Yes. World runs and you are watching. It's still, and the world runs and you have nothing to do with the world. So flowing water.
Mm. Yeah, I think that is what Buddha said. Like in other one of the other discourse you were saying, like when Angulimal was being talking, he told, "I already stopped, and now you stop."
Now you stop. Yeah. So when you are stilled, no name and forms exist in the consciousness. So the consciousness just stops. And the bliss. Yes, yes, Miriam, go ahead.
Lasti, like, so you talked about conceptualization of the naming conventions, like, so those, the way how we have this world around us, like, so for example, like 10,000 years ago, we didn't have all these education systems and all sorts of industries and things like that. So those concepts, like, when they come to existence, like, how do they come to existence? Is that because of the, um, like, how things like, having relationships, how the world evolved over the time. Um, how does those concepts come into, you can see that more and more things are being added into the worldly conventions. Like, how does that happen?
Number one, there is no change from then and now as far as naming and convention goes. We have changed the words, but it means the same. See, let us first go into the basic of things. So you have to first become a child. Okay, think we all seen children, we all have become, except for Shreyas, who is yet to get married. Otherwise, we all have married and we all have got to see our children, of the child coming out. If you see a child of 3 months or even lesser than that, what it does, even 1 month child, it takes its toe, puts in the mouth. What is it doing? It is sensing, right? It's naming what it is in the mind. No word has been spoken to it. Nobody has taught it. This is your toe. So what it is doing is touching. So there's a passa, contact. Then there's a feeling. So there's feeling, feeler comes there. It takes that, it feels, puts in the mouth, and started to, we are seeing it like playing. It's not playing, it is recognizing. It's trying to recognize what it is, to understand what it is, to understand what it is. Okay. Now, when in this aspect of recognition, it also has a perception. Because without perception, without creating a symbolization, it can't come back at its toe. So when it puts it in the mouth, sucking and throwing it out, sucking, throwing it out, it is creating a perception. And when it creates a perception, it creates an intention associated with that perception. So it starts to see, this is this, this is this, this is this, like that. So there's a intention. And because there's an intention, it makes up its mind that I need to keep on doing that. So if some parent were to come and remove it from its mouth, after 2 minutes, it'll again put back in the mouth. If that is not sufficient, it will take its thumb and try sucking. So the mother feels that the child is hungry. So it again starts feeding. So that's continuous. So it's a way of communicating to the mother and from mother to the child. But please remember, no words have been spoken so far. And yet it is doing the same thing. So this name and form is a preliminary or a most primitive thing in all beings, need not be human beings. So that child has created a world of touch. So when it touches the mother's breast, is a touch. It knows there is a food here. When it touches its toe or finger, it knows the difference. That's that, and this is this, right? It doesn't get confused. It doesn't get confused with the mother's milk to its thumb and thumb to the mother's milk. No. If it is hungry, it will start to cry. And the mother knows this cry means it's hungry. Either it will give supplemented food or she will feed milk. There's only two things. Did the mother, somebody came and told it, saying that this is how you need to feed? Only the nurse showed one day, that day, that's all, over. And every day the nurse is not sitting there and showing this is how you need to feed. No. She knows how. There's not even a word spoken about it. Not even a word. Neither the mother is talking nor the child is talking. How? This is the primitive name and form in the consciousness. So it reflects on the consciousness. So as soon as a sound is heard, and you see this fun, the child sound is heard. There are so many children of the same voice, but the mother knows this is coming from my child only. How? Let's take for example, she has delivered twins. One of them is sleeping, other one is woken up. She knows which child has woken up. Even before going to the bed or wherever the child is sleeping, she knows, oh, this child is woken up. This guy, I don't know why he can't sleep. Look at the other one, is sleeping. Give me a second. How did she know? And she'll say, mother knows the child. Is it? No. The consciousness knows, not the mother knows. So that's how it works. It's the most primitive, most primitive. It's there in birds, it's there in insects, it's there in animals, it's there in everywhere. That nama and rupa, you require a description. So as the child grows, you keep on giving it a description. What is this? Let's say this is apple. We don't know what apple is. Even if you ask a parent what is apple, even he doesn't know, she doesn't know. But he's been taught. So this is where the mind comes. So you hold an object like this. This holding object is what is felt by the body. But the mind sense now comes and takes it to be apple. Now we created a concept of apple, right? So every time this is shown, it says A for apple. Come on, tell me again. Apple. So the mother gives one chocolate to it. So now it relates that if I say this, I not only get apple, I get a sweet. Now again it says, Mom, Mama, Mama, apple. So that it wants a sweet. She says, no, 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 I have already given it. And it understands. When she does like this, it understands. This means no. This means yes. You see this fun. It knows. You didn't sit and teach the child. And if you just do like this, it knows. That means you're not going to give. So the body language is always there in a primitive sense. So it need not be verbal. So even in communication, in project management, they say that 90% is body language, 10% is verbal. Out of that, 5% is the voice and the 5% is the strength of the voice, which means the how the up and down is happening. So that means more than, let's say, 80% or 90% is body language. So what is body language? Gestures. That's the primitive nama and rupa. Only using a language, you are making it known to others. That means this is what I mean. Let's take another example. A man is staring at a woman like this. She has not spoken. Poor man. What does the woman do? She can also stare, one option. Second option is what she does. She will start to see where is he staring. And she doesn't worry about why is he staring. She will look at where is he staring and she will correct it. And the man now turns the other side because whatever he was seeing is no longer available. Now you see this fun. How did this happen? The mind in the man conceptualized an object. The mind in a woman saw that this man has started enjoying an object. So the mind in the woman worked and changed that object. And the mind in the man saw that this object changed, so it dropped the object. Okay. And then the woman didn't do anything to him. She just did her clothes something like this and over. But that the man picked up, saying that, oh, okay, I lost it. So both acted like children. This woman thought he's picking up something. This man thought he's going to pick up something. But they both enjoyed or suffered in the mind because of the concept. But the concept was created in the mind, not even a word was spoken. So you got this point here. If the woman would have said, hey, why are you watching my thing, this thing and that thing? Yes, I can understand. Or if the man would have said, I want to watch that thing in you, I could have understood. But both of them didn't speak. But they exactly did what they're supposed to do. So that's the primitive Nama and Rupa. And with that, only the consciousness comes. You tend to become conscious because of that. If there were no Nama Rupa, you wouldn't have become conscious. Or, in fact, the man wouldn't have been looking at the woman like this. Because first he conceptualized a woman in his mind. And then he put some figures, some shapes, saying that a woman should look like this. And it matched his description, mental description of that woman when he saw this object. And he started staring. Okay, now this is first scenario. Second scenario. He's staring like this, and the woman also feels like this. And the man gets interested. Why is she looking at me like this? He was looking at her in a very, let's say, sensual state, but she started looking at him. So he became aware. Thus the sensuality little bit dropped. And she said, Vilas. Then this guy got startled. How did she know my name? Then she came forward and said, Vilas, you remember we both were in the same school. And the conversation grows. And she says, I was sitting next to you in this class and all that, and the childhood memories come. You, oh my God. Hey, I'm sorry, I was staring at you. Yeah, I know, men are men. So over, patched up, right? Now you see this fun. He was interested in her, suddenly lost interest because she became his childhood classmate. So it made him forget all the sensuality what he was enjoying. And now some other man starts staring at her. And he goes and says, how can you stare, my friend? But actually 5 minutes back he was doing exactly the same thing. And this lady will say, men are men. Right? So now you see this whole fun game. All of that is happening in the mind. The friend came in the mind. The woman came in the mind. The woman got changed to a friend. And another person started staring, which came in the mind. And that mind said, he's your enemy because he's watching your friend, which he was also doing the same thing few minutes ago. And now he becomes a protector of this woman who didn't say that, please protect me. He's also staring with me. But instead, he goes and say, how dare you stare at my friend? He said, I never stared at her. In fact, I was looking at, hey, you were in the same class as mine, right? And he slaps this guy. You don't remember me? Horrible guy. Even during school, this so and so teacher used to hit you because you couldn't remember this one. It's you. Oh man. So now you see this, that enemy became a friend. This fun part is what Nama Rupa with Vijnana. This whole episode. So you will laugh, you will cry, you will get angry, you will get sad, you will get this, that, all happening here only. So yatta namancha rupancha, that is when this nama and rupa, asesamuparujjati, is completely let go. That Vijnana, which Vijnana? Which was recognizing like this is my friend, this is my enemy, this is that, will go away. And then you are in Nibbana. That's a Paramam Sukha. Because the friend also died, wife also died, husband also died, enemy also died, that beautiful looking girl also died, that woman also died, everybody died in that. Because it was never existing in the first place. So you just watch fun. Hey, he's my friend. Okay. Hey, he's my enemy. Oh, So if somebody were to come and ask me, is your Modi friend? Are you a Modi fan? Are you a Rahul Gandhi fan? Are you a Bush administration fan? Are you supporting Russia? Are you supporting Indonesia? Do you want to settle down in the US? Do you want to settle down in India? Because all of that are false. Because they are all concept. So if you come out of concept, you are at peace. Okay, that's the whole idea of Dhamma. No conceptualization. See it the way it is. Yes, Mirin, go ahead.
So I'm, I get what you are meaning, like don't get in the sense like get for conventional reasons. Just checking, I mean, about the, so like, we were talking about the quantum physics and all those kind of things. So I was thinking also about, like, how, for example, moon has got, there is, things haven't changed in the moon, of course, other than humans have gone and put some stuff in there. Whereas in Earth, there's like so many changes has happened in the last, like since the human beings have been here. There's been so many changes been happening, both man-made changes as well as like natural changes which are happening. So like, for example, like the bullock cart, like probably hundreds years ago, is now becoming like, of course, we have got airplane and other things and other, so those conventions change over the, like those concepts change over the course of time. And I mean, I know that it does, there are other things which are changing, like chemical things which are changing in other planets as well. But when you, like, why do those kind of things change in like terrestrial body, like in extraterrestrial spaces, things like that?
Okay, so if you have heard about expanding universe, okay, first the universe expands and then it contracts. Again it expands, again it contracts. So we have to be knowing that. So when there is an expansion, you start seeing diversity. And when you see diversity, you start naming those diversities accordingly. And when you say diverse, it means it should be changing from point A to point B. If you were to measure, it means at the measuring side, wherever you're measuring it, and that will show the time and space, right? If you couldn't measure it, there's no time and space construct. Within a particular time, you're measuring it, it means it takes a particular space. Okay, so object in space means at the time of measurement. And then only you can say expanding or contracting. So when we say it's expanding, it means that you're adding time and space to it. So it seems like the objects are going far away from you. Correct? Because the very act of measurement makes you feel that it's going away from you. Isn't it or not? Let's say I'm sitting here.
Can you clarify that once again, please?
Yeah, I'm going to, that's the reason I started with an example. So let's say all of you, I've been using US stories. So my wife yesterday asked me, it seems like you're in love with US. I said, I was thinking I should now make it Australia better. Because I've been into the US, so it becomes my second nature to talk about it. I said that from tomorrow I'll talk something else.
You
So
can come to Australia, then you'll start loving Australia more than US.
Yes. So let's take Australia. Okay. My favorite place is Melbourne. For whatever reason, I like Melbourne. Okay, it's now from Melbourne to Brisbane. I don't know how many kilometers, so let's keep some kilometers.
2000.
2000. Okay, good. So now, from the point of measurement, that measurement, Melbourne, it takes 2000 kilometers to reach a point B called as Brisbane, right? So isn't it expanding? From the point of measurement, yes, because it is taking so much of time, so much of space. 2000 kilometers of space has to be covered in some time, right? So when it takes time and space, it means it becomes diverse, meaning you can see it in different ways now, right? Between Australia and Brisbane, you can see it in different ways. What do you mean different ways? Means whatever one likes and dislikes and all that is different ways of seeing it. Roads are good or roads are bad, or this is street light or this is no street light. A lot of hotels and motels and no hotels and motel and blah blah, all that. Good to drive, bad to drive, all that things all taken together is what you call it as an experience, right? Because you started measuring. What if you didn't measure it at all? Then what will you find? It's not expanding, neither it is contracting. Because you take one point, the other point becomes irrelevant now. This is the spooky at a distance, which Einstein was trying to come to. How does it know?
Is that like you're disintegrating it, like to expand it?
It's
So you're
not,
just like going into depth of it.
not like that. There are two atoms. Atom A will call it as Brisbane, and atom B will call it as Melbourne. What I'm trying to see is that I want to fix this somehow and say it is 2000 kilometers apart, right? But Earth is rotating. So there is change in the angle, right? All the time. So is it exactly 2000 kilometers or what? I think it is 2000 kilometers. It's actually what I think as 2000 kilometers because the mile marker shows it that way. But if you see the seasons, there's a slight change in seasons, there's slight change in temperature, there's slight change in latitude, longitude, all that is little bit changes, but not major changes to make you feel something different, right? So the sheer act of measurement makes something expansive or contracting. So when we take a quanta, which means multiple, you see that they are not doing anything. It's only the measurement which makes the difference, the change. Otherwise, they're not changing. It's not that they change less, it's not that they change full, it is a state at which they are in. Like another example, gravitation. Is it truly there? No. It's not there. It's a concept. You say, what? Stupid guy, you don't believe in gravitation? We are gravitated towards Earth. No. You are gravitated towards yourself. No Earth or anything. You're spinning at your own pace. Your body is in for spin. It's spinning. And it looks stable because it's spinning. So as it spins, it loses heat and gains heat. So it looks as though you're there. So the energy is spent more in retaining a particular state than losing the state. So its objective is to lose the state, which is entropy. Right. So when you measure, you fix it. It's a constant on which everything gets measured. And there's nothing called measurement at all because it's an error of measurement. So this is quantum entanglement. entangle itself in such a way that sometimes it looks expansive, sometimes it looks contraction. It depends on how the measurement is, from where it is getting measured or what is getting measured. So it entangles. It's always there. Meaning, if you say, like in the experiment, cat experiment, Schrodinger experiment, if you open the box, the cat is dead. As long as it's not opened, the cat can be alive or dead. What it really means? That means the birth and death are both happening at the same time. But if you remove it, it either shows dead state or a living state. In the same way, expansion, contraction are cancelling each out. So nothing is nothing is expanding, nothing is contracting. It depends on where you're measuring. From that part, it shows it is expanding. And from that part, it might show it is contracting. This is the illusion. So when you become an observer, you can see the illusion. When you are the movement, you're part of illusion. So no planets or anything is expanding or contracting from the measurement point of view. Yes. So we can say Earth was like this some years ago. Now Earth is like this. Why? Because we are seeing the change in topology. As per my construct, my measurement construct. Let's say in Australia there were 50,000 trees in one place. Now there are 40,000 trees, which means 10,000 trees have died. From that relative measure, what I'm doing. But where did the dead tree go? It's back wherever it was. So it seemed like a tree came and a tree went away. It's like saying some person came and person went away. Got it? So you're moving from Perth to Melbourne, Melbourne to Brisbane and Brisbane to Melbourne. It seems like you started from Brisbane and you drove 2,000 kilometers to reach Melbourne, while you never left Brisbane to reach Melbourne. You reached Melbourne in the mind as much as you left Brisbane. Because as far as energy goes, there's nothing gained or nothing lost. Yes or no? See, the body got exhausted and you had to refuel the body. The car got exhausted. You had to refuel the car. But what happened to you? Have you ever thought what happened to you?
Even me, I changed over the course of time because
Nothing happened. And that's the reason you can't feel your age. You have
won't
to
my
take
cells die and then regenerate like
But where did
microscope?
it go? Where did it go? It went nowhere. Because death and birth are happening simultaneously. They are totally happening in the same state. Like that experiment. If you remove it, it gives you dead or alive. What if there were no observer? There's nothing. Like you are aging. If you watch it, right? If you measure it, I had 3,000 gray hairs. It has now become 10,000 gray hairs. So the 7,000 have got added. It's your measurement, right? But you go and ask the hair, did you turn gray recently? Hair would say, what is gray means? So please tell me what is gray. Gray means which is not black. Sorry, tell me what is black. Black is black, gray is gray. Black is black, gray is gray. I don't get it. Hair is a hair. That much I can tell you. You just ask a hair. It has no dimension. If it were to speak to you, you can pluck your hair and say, "Hey, hair, how are you? All this while you were in my head. Now that you come out, how do you feel? How was your experience while staying on my head?" It says, "I don't know." How is your experience after you have come out of it? I don't even know I came out from anywhere, right? So the hair falls here, goes on the ground, and it submerges. It becomes back to carbon. And then again, something grows and you eat. Again, the hair comes. Again, you cut it. It goes on the ground. So this is getting recycled, basically. So nothing is coming, nothing is going. Have you ever watched? All the humans go and do feces. All animal goes and do feces. Where does the feces go? By now, it's kilometers of feces. Or like it should have been rivers and streams of feces. But where does it go? It goes back to the ground and it gets refurbished and comes back to life as a plant. And again you eat it, again you shit, again it goes back and again comes back. That means the net effect is zero. It has nullified it. Right? So if that were true, then Earth should have shrinked. Correct? There's no shrinking of Earth. It stays the way it is. It's going around and the size is almost the same. So nothing is going anywhere. Nothing is gained, nothing is lost. And that's quantum. Yes, Hari.
I'm not getting it too much, but I'm wondering in this quantum terms what you're saying. You're saying this wave function was created at the beginning of it, and that has remained. That there's only a wave function, and it's
I never said that.
okay.
When you start measuring, it turns itself into a particle in quanta. I'm not saying it was wave, it remains wave forever. That means we are doing something else.
No. I said the wave function. It means it's a function. It's a before you observe. It's in that formula state, and it's remained that state. The birth and death is within that state only. There's no different state.
Yes, and that's the reason it's a wave. But the moment you measure it, it turns itself into a particle showing either of the one, either dead or alive. Because you have measured it. The moment you measure it, it stops. It stops what? It takes one and leaves the other. So either it will show as a dead state or it shows the active state. Correct. Now, I and you and Mirin and everyone is alive. Means what? Is equivalent to dead. Because as we speak, it's dead, then a new one, then dead, then new one, and dead, new one, dead. Body's cells are replacing, new one dead, new one dead, new one dead, right? 49 days it takes for the red blood cells to get replaced completely. And in 10 years' time, all the cells are changed except for the heart cells, which are, what's the term there? These are pacemaker cells. They are the only one which have been there from your beginning. Otherwise, every other cell is changed. That means they no longer are yours. Every decade you have got decayed, basically. Yeah, you wanted to say something? No. So that's what we can see. That means every decade gone, we have got decade, meaning the new one which comes is lesser proficient than the previous one. So the previous one, then that's what we call it as an aging process. It keeps on copying, but that copy is not as good as the original. Then the copy is not again as good as the original. Then the copy is not as good as the original. And ultimately, it keeps on copying and copying and copying. That is cell's mutation is not as good as the original, so it ultimately it loses. So the cell changes, and hence it changes the whole structure. Right? That's what is happening, basically. Now, how does it get information? It just gets information from the previous cell. So it goes into the previous cell, from that previous cell, that previous cell, that previous cell. So it's giving information. So as much as information is there, so much it is doing. Yes.
From the sutta, right? From how Buddha described it, the first Buddha, Vipassana, and all these different Buddhas, you can see the human life is decaying, right? Initially, it's 80,000 years and less and less and less. Now it's 100 years, it'll get less, and the morality keeps on decaying, wisdom keeps on decaying. People. I guess in that way, the universe is decaying, right? And they're no different than a human body in that way.
Like,
And
so what is yes, go ahead.
No. Eventually, it'll get so bad and get recycled, and again.
So it will expand, then slash contracting to the level that it completely gets contracted. So when the black holes lose the complete energy, it is completely contracted, and that's it. There ends, blip, gone. Right? And then again, there's an expansion. Again, it expands. Again, it contracts. Same thing is happening in the human body. It expands, contracts, expand, contract all the time. That we call it as pulsation. It is pulsating. Like heartbeat. If you see, there's a pulsation. It opens up.
So why did the consciousness have like a longer lifespan previously? Like, is that because of morality? And now the consciousness has got a shorter lifespan. Because if you go to higher realms, they have longer lifespan. Like, so the body can carry the consciousness for longer.
No. Consciousness has got no lifetime. Neither is fixed nor variable.
But it gets to stick around.
Wait. Consciousness attaches to the four elements, and how much it can stay is dependent on how much the consciousness is moral, not the other way around. Not the body is not sticking to the consciousness is sticking to the body. So when we say 80,000 years, it means the decay of the cells, if we were to take, was far lesser. That means the universe matter, the decay of the matter or the atoms is at a lesser frequency. It means the refresh rate is lesser than the refresh rate now. Yes, Arif?
I guess which you can see easily in the drinking person, right? If someone's routinely drinking at 40 years age, they look like 60, 70, like that, right?
Yeah. So basically, when we look at the age, so the question I was asking you and Bobby a few days ago, what's my age? I was trying to see how will you study the biological age, the meditative age, and then the life as an age, right? All the three can be seen, Mirin. I can explain to you and then you can look at it. So now, biological age. Yes, suppose the cells are supposed to die at a particular interval, and then they're dying at a lesser interval. Okay. So what happens? The replenishment or the refresh rate is lesser. If the refresh rate is lesser, the body looks younger, and that is, it looks more conscious. Basically, it means more flowing, more fluid, if we could use that word. Meditative age is the age when you are meditating. It means you're at rest, Meditation is nothing but resting. You just rest it. The mind is at rest. Meditation is not about running somewhere. Meditation is about not going anywhere. So you stick on. So when you stick on, what happens? That much of movement is stopped. That means neither coming nor going. If you come, there's a going. If there's no coming, there's no going. So that's a meditative age. So this is biological age, this is meditative age, and this is the body aging, that natural process of fat and lean and all of that is the body aging. So when you see a person, you can see them in at least two or three ways. You can see them on the biological side of it, that is refresh rates. Meditative age, if you are on this field, you will see that this guy looks more peaceful. That means there's no going and coming. The more going and coming, the more tensed this person looks, because there's always going and coming. He goes and he comes, goes and comes. There's a tiredness, right? So this guy looks no tired. How does he retain so much energy? Because there's no going and coming. Yesterday morning he was fresh. In the evening he's fresh. It seems in the night he's fresh. But why am I not fresh? That is the second part. And third part is the actual aging process. So you might ask, then this and this is the same, looks the same, biological age and this. The biological age here is a refresh rate, and the biological age here is how many times he need to refuel it. The more he refuels it, the more he's aged. Just like you take a car and every 100 kilometers you have to keep on refueling, the car expectancy will reduce. The lesser he eats, the more the expectancy. The higher he eats, the lesser the expectancy. Because to digest, it uses more energy. If you're not eating too much, it retains energy. That means the cells will not die much sooner, because it's not overfed to lose energy. So we have to see this thing. And hence, when you see a person, especially if he says, I'm going on spiritual and this and that and all that, you have to see him in three things. Apart from voice and all that, eyes and voice, I said, you should also look at his refresh rates. 1. 2, if not refresh rate, forget it. His meditative age. Meditation doesn't mean that he has to sit his closed eyes and all that. How much is going and coming? It's clear on his face and eyes and all that. On skin, it shows up, which is termed as aura, basically. This is aura is more, aura is less, or whatever. And then this age, the real process of aging. Yes, even I need to go. I've got another 2 minutes left before this meeting room will be hijacked. Okay. So we need to, yes, sir, your last question, you had something you've been asking me. No, it's not about wrongdoing or right doing. It is how deep is this impression of woman and man in the chitta or the mind. When you, the moment the observer effect comes, it reduces. When I say reduces means that blemish is gone, because it's like this. going on man and a woman on two reasons. One is the indriya, or the faculty or the senses, which we call it as, because of the hormonal discharges, we call it as a man and a woman. And also the shape. It's majorly the shape which he has made it as a symbol. So the observer effect will remove the symbolization. It's like stripping out the symbol. See, let's say a woman is going, and from behind, she looks like a woman. But as a man, has a ponytail and stuff like that, and is walking. And then this person imagines, wow, what a woman. And then he sees full beard and mustache and all that. He's shocked. Oh, what a what a funny thing I saw. Why? Because he constructed woman by a symbol of a ponytail. So you got the point. So he wanted to turn back and see he really saw a woman. But to his horror, he saw a man. Next example, like Mirin, this woman has cut her hairs, and then he thinks it's a man. She's put some jackets, walking like a stout man. So he goes and taps, and she looks like this, and he says, "So woman." Again, a horror show. Why? Because he conceptualized a man in the mind based upon some symbol, right? So when we make it, we make a different shape. If there is a difference in the shape than what I have, I call that as a woman. If there is even a little bit of distortion, it becomes an issue now, right? That's how it works. So wait, how much time does it take? It would take as much time as it would, depending upon how much strength is that symbolization is. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, got it. I was gonna ask, even if you sit next to me and stare at me, I know you're staring at me, I'm still gonna recognize women. So how does that go away? But yeah, at a given time, it'll purify.
Not purified, is about removing symbols. See, you are bringing the observer effect so that the symbolization reduces. Yeah, all this while is only symbolization, just like the child holding its thumb, it is symbolized. So the mother keeps on pulling it out, pulling it out, pulling it out, pulling it, till the child knows that it can't keep the thumb, right? Or the child has grown 2-year-old and it is asking its mother, "Give me your breast, I want to suck." And the mother says, "I'll hit you now." Or she will smear something to her breast, and then it feels something is bad and it drops, because it has made a symbol. Now if somebody were to ask how long your child is going to drink, I don't know. Okay, chalo, bye bye.
Okay, bye bye.
Okay, bye.